Waugh shared the Jennings last year, and the Canadians have allowed only 2 goals this season. At the other end of the rink is 34-year-old veteran Reggie Lemelin. 0-5-1 against Montreal last season. The Bruins didn't win a game against the Canadians. He's starting for the first time. Andy Moog played the Bruins' first 2 games. The referee is Dave Newell, the linesman Kevin Collins and Mark Vines. And Molson NHL tonight is underway with the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadians start a line of Bobby Smith with the Lemieux brothers, Jocelyn on the left wing, and Claude just back in the lineup on the right. Here's Jocelyn with a shot, and Reggie Lemelin with the save. Jocelyn Lemieux, number 45, to his brother Claude. Centering pass. Bobby Smith is tied up. The puck is swept away from the front of the net. Out come the Bruins, but there'll be a penalty behind the play, and it'll be against Boston. Bobby Gould was holding the puck, and a cross-checking penalty is called on Bruin newcomer Lou Crawford.
Well, Luke Crawford is a feisty young player that has never had an opportunity to play a game in the NHL. Mike Milbury has given him that chance.
Lou's brothers Mark and Bobby both played in the National Hockey League, and Lou played 7 seasons in the minors before getting his first crack at the NHL this season. He's been called for cross-checking. I think we'll see it here.
Way back in front of Lemelin, that's when Crawford was guilty of putting Lemieux down, and he did it. Well, he did it hard, but yet then again, it was Lemieux that went down.
You're going to get on him already?
No, I'm not.
His first game of the season.
So it's mine, too.
The Canadians are 2 for 12 on their power play. An inauspicious start to the Canadian season with a man advantage. They're on a power play now. The Bruins shorthanded, no score early in this game from the Boston Garden. Stéphane Richer is in deep looking for the puck. Out in front of the net is Shane Corson. Richer trying to get him the puck. Bork swept it away from him. Peter Svoboda on defense is hit hard into the boards by Bob Carpenter. The Canadian power play looks like this. Stéphane Lebeau, the great scorer from the American League last year. He had 70 goals in Sherbrooke, is number 47. He's with number 44, Stéphane Richer, and Shane Corson up front. Chelios and Svoboda are the defensemen. Bob Gould over from Washington is a great defensive player and good penalty killer. He's out with John Carter, just called up from Maine. Glenn Wesley and Ray Bork, 2 great defensemen, killing the penalty for Boston. A minute left to go in the penalty to Lou Crawford. Svoboda, number 25, up the left wing, and he dumps the puck in, and now he'll chase it as Reggie Lemelin clears it around the boards. Chelios from the right point in front. Here's a chance for Lebeau. He'll just set up around the Bruin box. Into the corner. Richer with Corson out front. Centering pass. Didn't get through. Glenn Wesley on the board. Chelios pitching in. Keeps the puck in. Richer wisely held on instead of shooting from an awkward position. Back in the point. Svoboda. 30 seconds left in the penalty. Rink wide. Chelios shoots. Reggie Lemelin made the save. Loose puck in front. Shot wide by Corson. 20 seconds left in the Crawford penalty. No score early in this game. The Canadians on the power play. Glenn Wesley stole the puck, and the captain of the Bruins, Ray Bork, sends it down the ice. Boston will change.
Hey, if you've got Stéphane Richer in your pool this year, hang on to him. I think he's going to have a really good season.
5 seconds to go in the Crawford penalty. Svoboda's over the blue line. Takes the shot. A screen shot. Got through, but wide of the post. Now the penalty's over. Crawford's back on the ice, back into the play, and the Bruins punch the puck out to center. Craig Janney's on the ice. Janney with Bob Joyce and Cam Neely. This is the first time these 3 Bruins have been together in this, the 3rd game of the season. Mike Milbury wants some punch. He might get it from that line. The Canadians have countered with Ryan Walter, playing with Brent Gilchrist and Mike Keane. You'll see some unusual combinations, unusual in that you haven't seen them before for the Canadians because of all the injuries tonight. Jurke Lume is in the lineup because of Desjardins' injury, and the rookie defenseman got the puck out to center, and it hopped over the boards. So the Canadians tonight are missing 8 players who were in the final game that the Canadians played last season against Calgary. Carbonneau, Naslund, Skrudland, all injured on Saturday night. Eric Desjardins is suffering from Kevin Maguire, who popped him on the end of the nose in a scrap. And Mike McPhee took the skate today, but he got up this morning and found he had a groin injury and was unable to go tonight. Lume on defense. to Ryan Walter. Can't get by Janney, and Lume will go back the other way. Mike Keane takes a hit from Bob Joyce. Jim Weimer with a shot. And that was stopped. Neely's throwing his weight around, as Cam Neely always does, especially at home. Keane takes a hit from Weimer. I hope that's an indication of what kind of game it's going to be. Lume over the blue line, blasts one. An offside call, though, against the Canadians. 3 minutes and 40 seconds in, no score.
Well, 10 days ago, these two teams faced off in Providence, Rhode Island, and what a match they had. Cam Neely is out throwing his weight around pretty good tonight.
Kick to the boards by Hayward. And then it's Neely and Walter, two big, tough guys.
Hey, two Western boys that were putting shoulder to shoulder. You could see that Neely meant business, but Ryan Walter's not an easy player to knock off of that puck.
Cam Neely took some stitches when he was checked into the boards by Stéphane Richer. There was no penalty on the play, and Ray Bourque took it upon himself to get revenge for Neely's injury in that game in Providence, and he cross-checked Richer across the face and took a major and a game misconduct, and that's when all broke loose. Bob Sweeney, Randy Burridge, and Bob Carpenter. Here's Burridge right in front, shoots it. Great save by Hayward, and he kicked the puck out. And up the ice comes Tom Chorsky, playing with Martinson and Courtnall. Quite a contrast in the styles of players on that line. Here's Carpenter into the middle, just behind Bob Sweeney, and Burridge was tied up by Martinson coming back. Russ Courtnall to Steve Martinson. His play to Tom Chorsky, the rookie right winger, back to Courtnall into the middle, deflected to the boards by the defenseman Greg Hawgood. Hawgood, diminutive defenseman over the line. He's got great hands. One of them is taped, though, considerably because of an injured thumb. Chris Chelios blasts one. Lemelin makes the save and covers up the rebound. 4 minutes and 55 seconds into a good start. No score in the game. Here are some of the Bruins scratches. Linsman, you heard Bob McKenzie talk about his injury, the part of the rib removed. Gord Kluzak still working to get back. Andy Brickley with an ankle injury. Lyndon Byers with a leg injury. Nevin Marquardt should play in Maine maybe next week. Michael Telton with a shoulder injury. Gary Galley, a defenseman, is soon to be back with a shoulder injury. Kekalainen, Johnston, Miller, and Shoebottom are scratches.
Let's face it, though, it's news when Kluzak plays, not when he doesn't play. Out of his 7 seasons, he has not played in 3 of those seasons. Last year, only 3 games.
10 times he's had surgery on his injured knee. We'll catch up with Gord Kluzak, or did early this morning when he was working out here. And you'll see a feature on Gord Kluzak later in our broadcast tonight. Jocelyn Lemieux to his brother Claude. Back in the point, Sylvain Lefebvre couldn't keep the puck in. Penalty coming up against the Canadians. Gould to Neufeld, blasts one. Hayward to save. The rebound is loose. Knocked just wide. Gould taken into the boards by Lemieux. Bobby Smith gets control of the puck. Crawford pushes with Sylvain Lefebvre. And all the rest of the players come in. It's a Canadian penalty coming up.
Now Crawford's got his nose right in it again. Here's a guy that was a free agent for Buffalo in '84, for Detroit in '88, and now with Boston, and yet this is the first time he's been given a chance to play in the National Hockey League, and he's going to make his best opportunity. There was the shot by Gould. Hayward made the save. Now there's what Mike Milbury was talking about, though. They don't have a 40-50 goal scorer who is good around the net with easy hands that can jump right in there and pick up those type of rebounds. Let's face it, a guy like Neely is the only guy that they've got that can consistently put that puck in the net, but he's got to work so hard for every goal.
Claude Lemieux has taken the penalty, a high-sticking penalty at 5:20 of the first period. So the Bruins go to the power play, and Boston has only scored this season on the power play. Gary, they got 5 goals in their first game against Pittsburgh, all with a man advantage. They only scored once against Quebec on Saturday night, and that was a power play goal. Here's a team that has yet to score an even-strength goal as you look at Claude Lemieux playing for the first time.
Well, in all fairness to Lemieux, he may well have a very good season this year. He has got himself straightened out. There was question about him being traded, and Jim, you talked to him this morning, and he seems pretty content right now.
Well, he said that indeed he talked about being traded with the managing director, Serge Savard. He said after the incidents of the playoff in Calgary when he was sat out for a game by Pat Burns, he went to the general manager and said, if I'm not going to play, if things aren't going to be better for me, maybe it would be better for me to go. But he also said, I'm from Montreal. I love it there. I want to play for the Canadiens. He said he's had meetings with Savard. He's had meetings with Pat Burns. So far, so good. He's quite happy to be back in the lineup, but he hadn't even skated with the team, let alone played an exhibition game until yesterday.
Well, we joke about his dives, but Pat Burns needs Claude Lemieux playing well. He scored 29 goals for this team last year, and everyone thought he kind of had a bad year, but, I mean, it was only 2 less than he had the year before. They need him playing his typical style of disturbing game.
The Bruins power play then goes to work. Cam Neely, Bob Carpenter, and Craig Janney are the forwards. Wesley and Bork are the defensemen. Wesley's in at the post. There's the pass. And it didn't quite get through to Glenn Wesley, who was positioned perfectly and all alone over at the post. Carpenter was out to take the face-off, and he'll take a lot of the big face-offs for Boston. Canadians have yet to allow a power play goal, but they've only allowed 2 goals so far. One to Hartford, one to Buffalo. 40 seconds gone in the penalty to Claude Lemieux. Craig Janney with Neely and Carpenter. Carpenter took Courtnall out. Neely took a hit from Chelios. Ludwig got the puck. Can't clear it by Glenn Wesley. Kept in by Janney. Chelios finds an outlet, sends the puck down the ice with less than a minute to go in the penalty to Lemieux. No score in the game. 13 and a half minutes to go in the first period. Ray Bork showed up in camp, fit, ready to go, and has really impressed his new coach with his attitude this season. I think he wants the Norris Trophy back. Puck was deflected out of play with 37 seconds to go in the penalty.
That was rather surprising at Millbury when we asked him this morning, Jim, as to who was most impressive at training camp this year, and he picked a guy out like Bork, who you would expect would be impressive, but he said that it was because he got off to such a quick start and really came ready to play.
Craig Janney could have a great season. He is one player, if they're looking for more offense, will be an integral part of this team.
Well, you see how much they think of him. He's got that A on his sweater this year, and they're expecting some leadership from him. Mike Millbury really thinks that this guy has got some great potential in the National Hockey League.
Raymond Bork. Ryan Walter checked in. Walter, along with Gilchrist, Ludwig, and Chelios, are killing the penalty. Now it's Burridge up front with Sweeney and Peter Juris. Picked up as a free agent. Bork takes the shot, hit his skate, and went to the corner. 15 seconds left in the Canadiens' penalty. Bork looks around, back on the point. Greg Hoggood back to Bork, turned, and he lost control of the puck. Chelios took over. One captain shot it by the other and down the ice. 3 seconds to go in the penalty. Lemieux's set to come back on. Now he's back on the ice. The Canadiens are back at full and even strength with the Bruins. No score in the game. 12 and a half minutes to go in the first period. Lume bumped by Burridge. Bob Gould, number 18, controls the puck behind the net. Out to Rob Semeta. Here's the rookie from the Toronto Marlies wearing number 14. With Burridge and Gould back to the point. Stefan Quintel into Burridge. Gould lost the puck to Brent Gilchrist, and he starts out with Richer and Keane to center. Here's the pass to Keane, just out of his reach, and Al Peterson takes him out of the play, bumps him against the boards. Richer out in front. Peterson had his man, and Lemelin takes the puck. 11:59 to go in the first period. You're watching Molson, NHL Tonight from Boston. Welcome back to the Garden in Boston. I'm Jim Houston with Gary Green. Jim Van Horn with us as well. There's the Coach of the Year, Pat Burns.
Interesting how Burns said that not only losing Janey and Robinson and Green did he lose some good hockey players, but he lost some good friends as well.
Bruins win a draw in their own zone. He's lost an awful lot of experience off this team. If you count up the injuries and the players who've left this team from last season, Pat Burns is in this game tonight with 4,958 games of NHL experience gone from last season. Almost 5,000 games experience gone. And it's including the players that are injured.
Well, he misses a guy like Bob Gainey because Gainey, who didn't say a lot in the dressing room, came regularly to do his job, and every player in the dressing room knew that he was that type of player. But in Robinson and Green, he lost two players who had the abilities to kind of, well, almost solidify the dressing room at times when there was a lot of pressure. Both Green and Robinson had the abilities to kind of break the guys up at times, get them to laugh, have a few sarcastic comments that brought them back to reality.
Bruins win another draw and start out again after an icing call. Cam Neely with Janney. Hard shot by Neely. Oh, what a good blast just wide of the net. Neely's back out with Janney and Joyce. Al Peterson and Stefan Quintel are the defensemen. Lume and J.J. Daniel back for the Canadians. Here's Janney trying to center the puck. Corson went down behind the net. J.J. Daniel to Corson. His pass to Richer. Stéphane Lebeau is with him. Poke check to the line by Jim Weimer, just called up from Maine. 3 players were called up today. Weimer, John Carter, and Ray Neufeld. Some experimenting going on in Boston. They're looking for more offense. Don't know how much they're going to get from Jim Weimer, but he's a steady blue line. Lume to Ludwig. When in doubt, give it back to the veteran. That's what Lume did, and Ludwig took care of it. Got the puck out to center. Shot back in by the Bruins. Hayward will have to play it quickly with Burridge coming in on him. Lume looks up, takes a hit, but made the play. Tom Chorsky in over the blue line, number 31, to Courtnall. Shoots it along the ice and just wide. 10:15 to play in the first period. No score as Bobby Carpenter goes in over the blue line with Burridge. Burridge with the shot. Bounces out in front. Hayward's looking for it. Can't get a hold of the puck. Swept their way to the line. Bork blast. Blocked in front of the net. Burridge is after it. Sweeney comes up with a puck. Great action in front of the net, but the Bruins couldn't put it in. Here's Bork into the middle. Shoots it. Great save by Hayward. He kicked out his left leg and made a dandy. Here's Martinson to center. Turned back again by the Bruins. Carpenter dumps the puck to the corner. Boston's in the midst of a line change as Chelios is knocked down by Peter Juris. Juris, Carter, and Gould are the Bruin forwards against Chorsky, Courtnall, and Martinson. Here's John Carter cutting to the middle. Tried to drop it off and couldn't. Now he gets it back to Greg Hoggood. Weak backhanded. Carter steps up. Gould is checked. The net is knocked off its moorings as Carter's knocked down. 9:17 to go in a scoreless first period on the NHL Tonight from Boston.
Well, the Bruins had a couple of good scoring opportunities. Once again, they are foiled in front of Brian Hayward. You can see them battling away for the puck. Look at Ludwig was on his knees and was able to get that puck. He thought out originally. He was flopping around there pretty good. Burridge was hammering away at. Bobby Carpenter was in front of the net. That's exactly where Milbury would like to have Carpenter parked, right in front of the net. He's about the only guy out there right now that has got the hands to be able to put that puck in the net quickly.
Hey, Greener, 2 first-class kick saves, one by Ludwig and one by Hayward. 9 minutes to go in the first period of the NHL Tonight from the Boston Garden. The Canadians and the Bruins are in a scoreless tie. Glenn Wesley with a high shot that was knocked down in front of the Canadians' net. Shots on goal are 9-4 for the Bruins at this point. Both teams have had a power play. Unsuccessful power plays at that. Penalty coming up here against the Canadians as the Bruins carry the puck to center. Greg Hoggood pushed by Chelios, who lost his balance. Canadians get the puck and there's an elbowing call, and the Bruins will go back to the power play. And the Canadians are all looking at each other as if in doubt as to who's going to the penalty box. And I think it's Claude Lemieux going back. An elbowing penalty against Claude Lemieux. Well,
there's the elbow. Lemieux got it up, but the guy he got it up against wasn't too tall.
Greg Hoggett is 5 feet 8 inches tall.
Now look, don't be getting all over his hockey stick this year. But he is still seriously chuckling about the fact that last year Jim Houston said that Greg Hoggett probably bought his hockey sticks at Toys R Us, and so the game after, when we saw Greg, he had his sticks all painted with the Toys R Us label right on the blade. Or the shaft, I should say.
Greg took the elbow, and Lemieux took the penalty. The Bruins 0 for 1 on the power play. Go to work with Carpenter out to take the face-off again. Out with Janney and Neely, Bourque and Wesley. Cam Neely thought he might get to the net. Now he turns back to Carpenter, into Janney behind the net. Carpenter goes to the front of the net, now in behind it. Neely's parked in front, scores! Cam Neely. .11:44, the time of Cam Neely's third goal of the season.
Watch Neely in front. He's pretty difficult to move, but you don't have to worry about moving him, folks. All you've got to do is control that stick of his. When he gets possession of the puck, when he got that pass from Janney, he had plenty of time. He didn't need it, though. Watch how quickly he released it. He got that puck on his blade of his stick, and no sooner did he get it than he released it. Hayward didn't have a chance.
A power play goal that gives the Bruins a 1-0 lead. Janney and Bourque draw the assist. And the Bruins still haven't scored an even strength goal. But they're ahead 1-0. That'll make the 37-year-old new head coach of this team, Mike Milbury, pretty happy. His team's out front 1-0.
He'll just take the goals right now any way that he can get them, whether they're even strength or power play. They're heading on a pretty tough road trip when you consider the fact they've got 6 games coming up. Montreal, Edmonton, Vancouver, Los Angeles, back to Edmonton, and then to Calgary. Boy, is he going to see what his players are made of.
And the people who are in Boston are going to see the circus. That's why the Bruins are going on the road. Here's Bob Sweeney for the Bruins to the front of the net. Hauled down from behind. Lume did a pretty good job on him. Didn't draw a penalty, though. The puck is held against the side of the net by Jean-Jacques Daigneault. There's 7:51 to play in the first period. Brian Hayward had an injury in training camp, a groin injury, so he didn't play as much as he would have liked. Big shoes to fill when you come in the third game, and Patrick was almost had a couple of shutouts.
Well, Hayward has been a good backup goaltender for Montreal. He's been a content goaltender, and he and Patrick Waugh get along extremely well. And that's always a difficult task, finding 2 goaltenders that do get along well. And Hayward is quite content to be number 2 to Patrick Waugh. But it helps because Patrick Waugh's got a pretty good attitude. He doesn't consider himself to be number 1. He thinks that Brian Hayward is a very capable goaltender, so obviously some good teamwork there.
Burridge, Sweeney, and Joyce are out now as a forward unit for Mike Milbury's Bruins against LeBeau, Corson, and Richer of the Canadiens. Burridge goes after the puck. Passed it to Sweeney, going for the net. Corson, bumped by Bob Joyce. Lume, up the middle into the skates of Richer. Bourque on defense with Jim Weimer. The shot off the post looked like a knuckleball that dropped right at the post. Stéphane LeBeau took a bump. Burridge took the puck. Lume has him tied up. Rob Semeta is in there, as is Shane Corson. A hush comes over the building. Perhaps they're content with a 1-0 lead, but they shouldn't be. Less than 7 minutes to go in this first period as Randy Burridge turns and heads up ice. Flipped in the air and knocked out of the air by Richer. Semeta's after the puck. An offside call against Boston.
Well, you can see that coming. Corson took a shot right at Burridge.
And Lou Crawford stepped into the rescue.
Corson had plenty of chance, though, to catch Burridge. Burridge was very slow with the puck in the neutral ice. He's gotten off to a slow start in training camp. And he was definitely slow in the neutral ice.
Burridge will go to the bench. Crawford and Corson will go to the penalty box, with wrestling penalties coming up in the NHL tonight.
Well, Burridge was just battling for that puck. He had his head down very low, and that's when Corson decided to give his head a little bit of a nudge. He gets it for cross-checking.
And Crawford gets 2 for roughing. So coincident minor penalties at 13-16 of this first period.
We're talking about Burridge. Burridge had 31 goals last year, really cut down his penalty minutes again in comparison to the year before, so stuck to really putting that puck in the net. He hasn't been very impressive in this early going, and the Bruins sure can't afford to have him not repeat a 30-goal season.
They started him on a line with Janney and Neely, but that only lasted for 1 game. John Carter's number 31, pinned to the boards by Craig Ludwig. And the fans are steamed as Carter went down to the ice. Chorsky dumped the puck in. He and Corson are chasing after it. Ryan Walters on the ice with them. Back the other way come the Bruins. Carter dumps the puck in. Carpenter's on the ice. Quintel to Carter with Semeta and Carpenter up front. Svoboda ran his man into the boards. Semeta in after Ludwig. Gave him a light bump. Quintel pinching it in the right side. The centering pass too hard for Semeta to handle. Janney from the point. Faked the shot. Nice play by Chorsky, who went down on the fake shot but managed to get his man anyway. Wouldn't let Janney get by him on the board. Tom Chorsky is a 23-year-old rookie out of the University of Minnesota. Here's Janney forcing a turnover. Tried to pass it off Courtnall's stick. Neely to Janney. Neely goes to the front of the net. Won't get the 2-footer this time. Hoggood blasts one. Nice save by Hayward. And the rebound is cleared to the sideboard.
You see how Janney really likes to use that behind the net. It gives him an opportunity to be protected from the goal net, and Neely looks for him there.
Janney, Joyce, and Neely out against Richer, Keane, and Gilchrist right now. Janney back to Greg Hoggood. Joyce was knocked down by Richer in the neutral zone, but gets up and is after the puck. Sylvain Lefebvre cut him off. Keane got to the puck and took a bump from Neely. Neely gets to the puck in the corner. Janney comes in to help out and ran into Chelios. Here's Cam Neely again. 4.5 minutes to go in the first period. The Bruins are up 1-0. Janney right out in front. Off a leg. Gilchrist got the puck to Mike Keane and ahead to Stéphane Richer, trying to split the defense, and he couldn't get by Greg Hoggood. Sylvain Lefebvre with lots of room, but elected not to shoot it. Then shot it off the pads of Hoggood. Out to Bob Gould, one man back. Gould takes the shot off the stick of J.J. Daigneault into the stands to stop the play with 4:09 to go in the first period.
Well, Pat Burns is hoping that Sylvain Lefebvre, number 3 for the Canadians, is going to be his replacement eventually, years down the road, for Rick Green. Lefebvre is 6'2", 187 pounds. He's a big, strong, defensive defenseman that can maybe even in the future score a few more goals than Rick Green did.
Let's watch Tom Chorsky get faked out on the shot, but recover.
Well, that was a bad play, though. I mean, it ended up being okay for Chorsky, but he really got lucky because he committed himself so soon, and that's just a no-no when you go out and rush the point.
But he still got up and backed into Janney. Maybe a little more good luck than good management, but he still got the play made. Mike Milbury has been a Bruin all his life. Played here and then worked in their minor league system. Now the head coach of the Bruins. Watching his team with a 1-0 lead. Jocelyn Lemieux with Claude Lemieux and Bobby Smith in over the blue line for the Canadians. Jim Weimer keeps his head up as he moves the puck to John Carter, who was bumped, but he made the play. Gould dumps it in, and Peter Duras is after it. Duras trying to get by Lume. He can't. Jean-Jacques Daigneault around to the boards. Lume pushes his man Gould from behind. There's a penalty coming up here against the Canadians as Carter was knocked down. And it'll be a cross-checking call. Jean-Jacques Daigneault hit John Carter and will get a cross-checking penalty for knocking him down.
Well, I think Pat Burns was holding his breath when he put J.J. Daigneault out there and Jyrki Lume back in their own end zone, because that line of Carter's, even though it's a fourth line, they can put some pretty good pressure on. And that's where Lume and Daigneault get into some problems. There you could see the cross-check. Carter went down, and Daigneault is going to the penalty box.
Again, it wasn't the biggest guy in the world that he hit and pushed down. And if that had been Cam Neely, he may not have fallen. Nonetheless, it's a penalty to JJ, and the Bruins are back on the power play. Again, it's Carpenter, Janney, and Neely out with Wesley and Bourque. They're looking for offense, but on the power play, they can put 5 pretty good players out there, can't they?
Yeah, they sure can.
Chorsky and Ryan Walter, forwards killing the penalty with Chelios and Ludwig of the Canadians. Chelios takes his time to Chorsky and then down the ice.
That's pretty dependent, though, on Bobby Carpenter having a better offensive year than he's had in the past few. I think they still look back to that 84-85 season for Bobby Carpenter where he scored over 50 goals and expect him to do the same. That's not going to happen. Nobody'd be happy with 30.
He won't be the first player that's really had his career, I wouldn't say put in jeopardy, but has had problems in his career because of scoring 50 goals. And Mike Milbury knows very well that Bobby is living with that image of a 50-goal scorer, and I don't know that he can live up to it.
Well, seasoned veterans like Mike Milbury would probably tell you, hey, if you're going to have a long NHL career and appease your general manager, you should score 21 year, 22 the next, 24 the next year, and you don't go out and score 50 goals in your young career because they're going to expect that from you every time. But Carpenter's got the skill to score 50 goals, but he hasn't been able to put everything together ever since.
It's been 4 seasons and 3 teams since he scored 50 goals, and Mike figures he's probably 25 to 35 goal scorer. And if he plays the power play, I think that's a reasonable expectation.
But he's given him more assignments to get his mind off of just scoring goals, winning big face-offs, checking, doing a good job, forechecking as well.
Minute to go in the penalty to Daigneault. 1-0 Boston. Rob Cimetta with a sharp-angled shot. Sweeney almost tipped it in. Hayward holds on in the crease where Sweeney was, I think, when he tipped it. The play is stopped.
Well, Hayward was backed right back to his goal line. But he's got a pretty reliable 8-year veteran in Craig Ludwig. Experience that the Canadians have lost back in the blue line. In this guy, Craig Ludwig, they have got a pretty reliable, consistent defenseman.
And in his partner right now, Chris Chelios, they've got a great defenseman, a Norris Trophy winner who loves to play and will play a lot. Svoboda's very good. Some of the young kids are good. I'm not sure how much they're going to miss Larry Robinson. In fact, Reader, I think maybe Larry Robinson will miss the Canadians more than the Canadians will miss Larry Robinson.
The native of Eagle River, Wisconsin, is a pretty good ball player too, Jim. Craig Ludwig can bat a ball, they say, right over the fence, and Tony Kubek told us that this summer, so he's a pretty good expert on baseball players.
In front, Carpenter shot it wide. Great chance, and Carpenter missed the net on a Bruin power play with his team leading 1-0. Carpenter's out with Burridge and Sweeney. He was out to take the face-off and stays out there in front of the net. Burridge. Weimer's back on the point. Jim Weimer getting a lot of ice time from Mike Milbury early in this game. Here's Bob Carpenter. Right in front of the net. Sweeney couldn't get to it. Loose puck at the side of the goal. In comes Greg Hoggood fishing for the puck. Shot it off the side of the net. Ludwig gets a hold of it and bashes it down the ice with 15 seconds to go in the Daigneault minor penalty. Stopped at center and shot back in by Carpenter. Bruins are changing on the fly. Chelios killed some time on the clock, then shot it to the Bruin bench where there were probably too many players on the ice as it hit some of those going off. Stefan Quintel takes the shot to the front of the net, a weak one that was blocked by Sylvain Lefebvre. Penalties over. Daigneault out of the box, and it raced straight over to the Canadiens bench for a change. Just over a minute to go, first period. Claude Lemieux to Bobby Smith, and he shot it just wide of the net. Smith's out with Ryan Walter and Claude Lemieux now, but the Bruins have the puck. Bob Joyce with Gould breaking for the net. Joyce didn't see him and shot the puck. Canadiens 4-on-3 through center. Lemieux ran into Smith, lost the puck with 40 seconds to go in the first period. We'll check the Vancouver, New York Islander highlights in the first period. Paul Romanek will be in conversation with Canucks general manager Pat Quinn. We'll have a look at some highlights of this game with Jim Van Horn and Gary Green. Big Al Peterson took a run at Lemieux, banged him against the boards. Jocelyn Lemieux working for the puck in behind the net. Janney comes up with it. Neely's breaking up the ice. There's the pass to Burridge over the blue line. Drop pass for Janney. Holds up to Neely. Shoots it. Blocked. What a great play by Daigneault, and he's hurt. There's a shot. They score. Randy Burridge. And he's hurt. All this with 3 seconds to go. Now Smith and Bourque are pushing and shoving.
Well, Burridge is cut in the face, and the Bruins seem to want to get after Svoboda.
What a lot of action, and in such a short time. The Bruins were working the clock. There's only 3 seconds left in the period. Daigneault made a sensational play blocking the shot. Burridge got the goal, then got hit in the face. Let's have a look at it.
Now watch Svoboda. He came in and cross-checked Burridge high, right across the face, and Burridge was bleeding from the nose. No doubt that nose may be broken.
And that'll be it for Svoboda for the night. He's likely to get a major in the accompanying game misconduct, and the already injury-riddled Canadiens will lose one of their top defensemen.
Peter Svoboda isn't exactly a player that stays out of the penalty box. I mean, he had 147 minutes in penalties last year, a lot of them stick penalties, and here is one that could be very costly tonight for the Canadiens.
What a fearless play by Daigneault to block the shot by Neely. And he was hurt.
But what happened then was when Daigneault went down is that totally committed another Montreal Canadiens player, so the Canadiens were playing shorthanded. And Svoboda was way off into the corner. He came in late. Hayward didn't have a lot of protection in front.
The puck was in the net by the time that Svoboda hit Burridge.
So you had your two defensemen, one that was laying flat on the ice, and Svoboda that was right out of the play.
Burridge with his first goal of the season from Wesley and Neely. Seems that Janney should probably have had an assist on that play, but they credit Wesley and Neely at 19:57, 2-0.
Burridge had quick hands there. That puck hit his skate, came right off, right onto the blade of his stick, and boy, he released it quickly because he knew he was going to pay the price. He's not a big guy, so he takes a lot of punishment in front of the net. But he also put the puck in the net.
Chelio speaks with Dave Newell, the referee. Svoboda has been given a high-sticking major in the accompanying game misconduct in 1957. The siren sounds to end the first period. That started fast and ended stormy. Pat Burns is down not only too many veteran players, but now 2 goals. The night is young. 2-0 Boston. We'll be back with more on the NHL tonight from the Boston Garden. we've had a great holiday weekend. It's a holiday here, not Thanksgiving, but it is Columbus Day in the United States, so fans are enjoying a day away from work here as well. Canadians and the Bruins are back to work in this second period from the Garden. And the Bruins start on the power play with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the major penalty. Wesley took a shot that was wide of the net. Steve Martinson is serving the major to Svoboda, who's finished for the night. Janney with Neely in the middle. Wesley breaking for the post. The pass didn't get through. That's a set play the Bruins tried in the first period. Couldn't make it work as Wesley breaks for an open post, and Janney tries to get him the puck. Here he goes again. Wesley sneaking in. This time back on the point to Bort. Into Wesley. In behind the net. Janney's after the puck, poked away from him by Sylvain Lefebvre. And Mike Keane moved the puck out to center. 4 minutes now left in the major penalty as the Bruins can really put the Canadians away with a couple of goals in this major penalty. Ray Bourque holds up and looks around with lots of time to work. Carpenter and Wesley back on the point. Carpenter goes for the slot. Janney behind the net. Lefebvre and Chelios watching him. No one to pass to. Nice job by the Canadians tying up their men. Bourque gave the puck away. Kevin Collins took a shot as Gilchrist cleared the puck and hit him in the elbow. The linesman is still grimacing after that one. Ooh, Bob Sweeney could have been blindsided by Gilchrist. Instead, he just broke his stick. Ray Bourque, Sweeney, Joyce, and Burridge are up front. Bourque goes off the ice. Weimer and Hoggood are the defensemen on this Bruin power play. Ludwig and Chelios playing back. 2:45 left in the major penalty. Sweeney to Burridge. Pokes the puck for Hoggood, knocked away by Chorsky. Greener, I think sometimes teams, when they get a major penalty to work with, find no sense of urgency because they think they have lots of time and they run right out of time.
Well, they also use a lot of their bench rather than just sending out their top four.
.224 left in the penalty. 2-0 Boston.
Works both ways, Jim. When you're killing it off, your four guys have a chance to really get used to what's happening out there and to be able to continue to change every 45 seconds. And likewise for the Bruins right now, is trying to get something going, and it's not as if it's desperation, but it's ticking away pretty quickly.
Every time we've had a look at Mike Milbury tonight, he's moving and he's talking. He'll never gain any weight in this profession. He's always moving. Very animated behind the bench.
He's a good communicator, and he's probably the most vocal coach since Don Cherry behind the Bruins bench.
Jim Weimer. With less than 2 minutes now to go in this major penalties to Svoboda, being served by Martinson. Hoggood dumps the puck in. Semeta, Juris, and John Carter are the forwards out on the power play. Carter with Juris out in front. Back on the point, here's Weimer. Now to Juris, cuts to the middle, took a shot along the ice, or Carter rather. Juris has it now. Semeta, back to Weimer. Carter with Juris out in front. Hoggood breaks for the net. Carter looks around. Weimer's breaking in as well. There's the pass. Blocked by Hayward as Juris got a shot from about 5 feet out. 1:20 to go in the major penalty.
Juris has only played a total of 21 games in the National Hockey League, but he's getting his opportunity once again to show what he can do. In front of the net right here, he's getting a working over from Corson. Carter was behind the net trying to get Juris loose, but there was pretty good net coverage by the Canadians.
Juris, a former Winnipeg Jet national team member, was picked up as a free agent after being turned loose by St. Louis. Made the Bruins very late in camp. He came on and made the team. A-team's back on the ice now. Carpenter with Janney and Neely. A drop pass for Wesley. Bourque is out on the ice as well. Chelios is back out on the ice after a brief rest for the Canadians. One short rest in this power play for Chelios, and he got right back out there. Wesley, after the puck, gets it off the board. Carpenter's in front. Over to Bork. Fakes the shot. Janney couldn't handle a bouncing puck. Carpenter with Neely parked in front of the net. 40 seconds left in the major penalty. Back on the point. The puck hopped away from Ray Bork, and the Bruins are running out of time on this major penalty to Svoboda, and really haven't had any great opportunities. Juris' 5-foot shot is about the best one. 15 and a half minutes to play in the second period. 2-0 Bruins. Wesley keeps the puck in, and a penalty is called for boarding by Dave Newell as the puck came out to the point. It's a Bruin penalty. So much for the power play. It had only 16 seconds left in it, but when the Canadians serve this 16 seconds, or Martinson does, then Montreal will go to the power play.
Well, Milbury wants Carpenter playing aggressively. He says that that's the way that Bobby Carpenter is going to get his game back, is when he's playing with intensity, when he's playing with aggressiveness. He doesn't mean sitting in the penalty box. Carpenter's picked up a boarding penalty. Carpenter, they're hoping, comes back to Boston, where he's from. He left a long time ago when we drafted him in Washington.
A boarding call. The referees are really going to clamp down on boarding this year. In fact, there can be a 2-minute boarding penalty. There can be a 5-minute boarding penalty with no game misconduct. But if a player is injured, knocked from behind into the boards and hurts his face, gets a cut in the head, then there can be a 5-minute major for boarding and a game misconduct, just like the other stick infraction penalties and suspensions if you gain 2 of them. You're going to clamp down on the hitting from behind into the boards. Penalties over. Martinson's on the ice. The Canadians now have a man advantage. Did a nice job of stopping the Bruins for 5 minutes. And here's Stefan Richer. All right. Tried to go outside in on Bork. And Bork just got a skate on the puck. That would have been a beauty, wouldn't it?
He forgot he was up against a Norris Trophy winner, a former Norris Trophy winner.
Tough shift for Bob Gould. Lost his stick, then got hit by a pass from Ray Bork. Might want to rethink this, and I think he's going back to the bench to do just that. Corson, LeBeau, and Richer forming the Canadian power play, with Chelios, who never seems to leave the ice, and Sylvain Lefebvre.
With the money they're paying Chelios now, I don't think he will leave the ice too much this year, Jim.
Just to collect the checks. 50 seconds to go in the penalty to Carpenter. Lefebvre with a shot, kicked out by Reggie Leveler. Back in the point to Lefebvre once again. Into the corner. Richer got a pass from LeBeau, but was checked, and here's Bob Sweeney with John Carter through center. They're the penalty killers for the Bruins. They dump the puck in. Now 30 seconds left to go in the Carpenter minor penalty. 2-0 Boston. The Canadians on their second power play, 0 for 1 in this game. LeBeau checked by Duras. Puck is kept in by Claude Lemieux in his first shift of this second period. Back in the point. Lefebvre to Chelios, takes the shot. Lemelin made the save. It looked like he almost missed that. Just almost, though. Here's Chelios again. Fakes the shot. To Lemieux. Poked away, and a nice play by Duras. Carpenter's out of the penalty box. Bruins are back at full strength. Duras with a breakaway pass to Carpenter. He's in alone. But the play is called offside. An offside pass. Duras just let go of the puck too soon. 2-0 Boston.
Well, the play started way back in the Bruins' end zone. Over to your right. Now watch. Duras is coming out. He sees that Carpenter's out of the penalty box, but he doesn't take that extra couple of strides to get up to the blue line before he hits Carpenter with that long pass. Otherwise, Carpenter was gone.
Good call by Kevin Collins. The position of the skate, the key item in the calling of that play, and it was clear that Carpenter was just over the center ice line before the puck. 2-0 Boston. 12:40 to play, second period.
On that play, Carpenter was as guilty as Duraso. They were both too anxious. Carpenter had enough time to come straight across that red line. He was still back in behind the defense, enough to be able to get that pass from Duras. But you can see the puck was also deflected, but that didn't matter.
Hey, Greener, I think that it's incumbent upon Duras to take a couple extra strides because Carpenter, if he came back, might run right into Chelios if he's taken out of the play. And if he does come back, Reggie made a save on Chelios. If Carpenter had have come back, then he wouldn't have had enough speed to go in on a breakaway. Chelios would have caught him there.
Okay, Roger.
It's not likely I'll get a job coaching the Rangers.
You never know.
Claude Lemieux with Bobby Smith and Jocelyn Lemieux. Bobby Smith shot right along the ice and wide of the net.
Roger got one.
You gonna get on him even though he's not here?
I know he's watching, Jim.
For those of you who are new viewers, Roger Nielsen is a graduate of the NHL tonight and is now coaching the New York Rangers.
Couldn't get a coaching job, so you and I worked with him for a couple of years and got his head all back together again.
And we haven't filled his position, fully expecting he may be back by Christmas.
Oh, low blow.
Just kidding. Cam Neely with Bob Joyce and Craig Janney. Neely with a shot. Just high and under the arm of Brian Hayward. Good hit by Neely, who's thrown a few of them tonight. That time he hit Jocelyn Lemieux. Bobby Smith taken out of the play by Glenn Wesley and pinned to the board. Joyce and Keane bump. Hoggett fishes the puck out of the scrum. Keane and Joyce will be tired after that. Nice defensive play by Martinson to break up a pass headed for Cam Neely. An offside call against the Canadiens. 10:58 remaining in the second period from the Boston Garden. It's the Bruins leading 2-0 on the NHL tonight.
Jim, the rink boards in Boston Garden just wouldn't sound the same, would they? Without Cam Neely in the lineup?
Jocelyn Lemieux took that thump.
And every time that Neely smashes someone against those rink boards, the fans here in Boston Garden go a little wilder than they already are.
Neely has lots of hits. He has a point tonight. The Bruins lead 2-0. Neely has 2 points with the goal and the assist. Burridge has the other Boston goal. Bob Sweeney with Burridge and Carpenter over the blue line. Courtnall trying to get the puck away from Burridge. His weak backhander was kicked away by Hayward. Fort kept the puck into the point. Sweeney spun around, but he got loose. Now Courtnall in to pick up the puck. He's playing with Brian Walter and Tom Chorsky. Russ Courtnall gave the puck away to Carpenter. To Burridge. Given right back to the Canadians, but here's Sweeney with a shot. Hayward the save. The rebound. Burridge couldn't get there in time to shoot. Chelios recovered. Got his stick on the puck. Gould is spun around and knocked down in a tangle with Brian Walter. Chelios fakes the shot. Tries to go outside on Weimer. Weimer takes his man to the boards. Chorsky gets the puck. Brian Walter now. Chelios in front. Ludwig pinches in to keep the puck in, and Chelios goes to the bench for a rare rest. Burridge takes a bounce off the glass and almost took a belt from Lume. Fort to Duras. Ludwig back to break up the play. 9.5 minutes to go. Second period of the Garden in Boston. 2-0 Bruins. Stefan Quintel kept the puck in. Duras bumped by Ludwig. Lume to Courtnall. Out to Chorsky and another bump in the neutral zone. Quintel and Chorsky. Al Peterson moves the puck ahead to Quintel. Now John Carter back to Peterson. And the puck is knocked out of play. I think it hit Dave Newell.
You ever walk through Boston Garden in an intermission after one of their favorite players has just been kabonged out in the ice as Burridge was at the end of the first period?
No, but I know someone who did. What happened?
I mean, they're going to have to get an armored truck and a SWAT team to get Peter Svoboda out of this building tonight after the game. Stakes have been high. Both teams have been playing some heavy body work along the boards.
And you know they play again on Wednesday night in Montreal, and Svoboda is eligible to return.
Lucky him.
Pat Burns is juggling some lines. Notably absent, other than Svoboda, is J.J. Daniel, who blocked a shot just before Burridge's goal at the end of the first period, and he hasn't played a shift in the second. So Burns is down to 4 defensemen, and he's juggling lines using, for the most part, 3, as the deflection went just up over the net. Reggie Lemelin looking for the puck. Richer right out in front. Wesley's there to save the day. Here's LeBeau into the middle. Stopped in some traffic, and Crawford moved the puck to center. LeBeau, Richer, and Corsoner together now for the Canadiens. Carpenter trying to get a shot away. Out with Luke Crawford and Bob Sweeney, but now there'll be a change as play is stopped with 8:16 to go, second period.
Jyrke Lume was looking over his shoulder there, and that's why he lost possession of the puck. He was a little worried about who was coming after him.
Luke Crawford, part of the reason that he spent 7 years in the minors and never made the National Hockey League is that until last year when he scored 23 goals in Adirondack, he never scored more than 15 goals in a season in junior or in pro hockey. But his penalty minutes went down last year and his goal total went up. And Mike Milbury had seen him in the American League and liked him.
Well, Milbury liked him because he said he's the type of player that's always in your face. And those that played against Milbury made the same of him during his years. He was a tough competitor.
Compared him in the intermission feature to Louis Slager. That's not a bad comparison. If he can play like Louis Slager, he can hang around for a while, especially on this team. Janney, Joyce, and Neely back out for the Bruins. Keane, Martinson, and Gilchrist playing together for the Canadiens. The pace has slowed down just a bit in the second period, particularly after a power play that went each way. But the Canadiens killed off a 5-minute major to Svoboda, who's out for the night after high-sticking Burridge. So they're very much in this game down 2-0. The Bruins had a chance to bury them and couldn't do it with their power play. Martinson and Quintel bump in the corner. Cam Neely will step it up and go from his blue line. Ahead to Quintel. Snaps one over the net. In after the puck, Joyce and Ludwig. You'll never get a face-off that way anymore in this league.
You got to move it.
Chris Chelios dumps the puck in behind the net. Centering pass by Keane didn't get out front. Jocelyn Lemieux to Gilchrist. Janney checks Gilchrist. Keane to Gilchrist. He's still checked by Janney, but gets loose. The backhand shot. Nice save by Lemelin. A rebound and a great save in the crease by Jim Weimer. Now a Canadiens penalty. Chelios fired the puck when the whistle blew and right at Weimer. And Weimer was right in the face of Chelios, who steamed about the penalty call.
Well, everything's evened up here. Weimer and Keane both in the penalty box. Weimer for roughing. He went after Chelios, and Keane for hooking. Gilchrist had a couple of excellent opportunities to put that puck in the net. This was his first one. He came around from the backhand, went for it high. Lemelin was down, but you could see that also Weimer was in there doing his battling job as well, and he made the second save.
That was a nice save. Keane got the call for hooking out near the blue line, and Chelios was so mad about it, he took a shot that hit Weimer, then Weimer pushed Chelios and took a penalty for roughing. So it's all even. Penalties of 13:37. Weimer for roughing, Keane for hooking. teams continue to play at full strength. An offside call at close quarters, and Greg Hoggood gives Jocelyn Lemieux a push, and that will gather a crowd.
Hoggood got that cast off of his hand today, and so he has got much better motion. And Mike Milbury said that there is no question that with his lack of size that he has got two great assets, his hands and his speed, and he's got to have both to play well in this league. And play well in the league he did last year.
Injured his thumb, had a cast on it, and now is just down to tape and says he feels much better.
16 goals in 56 games for Greg Hoggood last year. Not bad.
He'll give him some punch from the blue line along with Wesley and Bork. They've got some good defensemen that can carry and pass the puck. They can get some production from some forwards to match it. They'll get the goals Mike Milbury wants. 5:40 to play. Second period, 2-0 Bruins. Jocelyn Lemieux chips the puck, but not out. Duras turned and shot, and Hayward made a nice save, kicking out his right leg. Puck is dumped in by the Canadians. Lemelin played it right to a Canadian, trying to get it away from it. That move almost backfired. Bruins are changing on the fly. And now they'll get lots of time to do it because they're called for icing.
Puck off the boards, and rather innocent shot originally. It kind of changed direction. Hayward was able to kick that puck out with his right foot.
Hayward's playing his first game of the season tonight. Patrick Waugh played the first two. Russ Courtnall with a shot. A weak one. Lemelin kicked it out, and Walter couldn't get the rebound. Pass from Courtnall to Chelios didn't get through. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Bruins. Janney over the line with Crawford and Semeta going for the net. Back to Quintel. His shot tipped in front, and Hayward knocked it away. Semeta. Lou Crawford gets the puck, and there's a Bruin penalty coming up. Sylvain Lefebvre is down on the ice. Already Pat Burns is down to 4 defensemen. Another one is lying on the ice hurt, and a Bruin penalty is coming up on the play. A high-sticking call on Lou Crawford as Sylvain Lefebvre was hurt, and I believe the Canadians will be arguing for 5, but Dave Newell has just signaled 2 minutes after going back to check on Sylvain Lefebvre. Here's the call.
Well, it looked rather innocent originally. You're following the puck here with Walter going after it, but there just to the top right of your screen, you can see that stick coming up, and that stick belonged to Crawford. And it ended up connecting right in the face of Sylvain Lefebvre, but it is only going to be a 2-minute minor.
It's another new rule in the NHL this year concerning the high sticks. They're still going to call majors for high sticking and have a game misconduct. But if you do it accidentally, you get a major for high sticking. And when they accumulate the major penalties and hand out game misconduct, the accidental ones won't count. Just a little more bookwork to be done. Nothing accidental about the high stick that Peter Svoboda handed out at Randy Burridge tonight. He's missing for Pat Burns. Mike Milbury now loses Luke Crawford for 2 minutes at 15:07 of the second period. 2 minutes for high sticking. Courtnall, Corson, and LeBeau. The forwards out for the Canadians on the power play. Richer at the point with Chelios. Nice move by Richer. Good shot and a good save by Lemelin. Now Russ Courtnall to Richer. Lots of room. Shoots it. Nice save by Reggie Lemelin. Richer would like another crack at it. He might get it. Courtnall. Rink wide. The blast from Chelios. Loose puck in front of the net. Burridge comes up with it. Backhands the puck down the ice. 3 shots on net by Richer. Boy, he looks relaxed this year. He's handling that puck well. He's got a great shot to kind of terrify some of his defenders. Shane Corson. to Russ Courtnall. LeBeau parked at the side of the net. Richer to Chelios. To Corson, can't get the shot away, he's in behind the net. Courtnall's out in front. LeBeau back to Corson. 40 seconds, 45 seconds left in the penalty. Richer flips the puck to the corner. LeBeau. Now Courtnall with LeBeau going for the front of the net. Russ Courtnall back in the point. Chelios over to Richer. Takes the shot, but it was blocked by Gould. 25 seconds left in the penalty. Newell just about got hit. That puck hammered down the ice. And out of play. The minor penalties to Weimer and Keane have expired. They come back on the ice. 25 seconds to go in the penalty to Luke Crawford.
Well, all of a sudden, after Richer had gotten away 3 good shots, then the Bruins adjusted quickly. Gould started rushing Richer. They started playing a much higher box. And that would make Reggie Lemelin a little bit happier. It went right off of Richer. Here's another big drive. Lemelin again. Makes that kick save. Richer is blasting that puck away, and that makes Pat Burns happy. Burns spent a little bit of time with Richer this summer. He's known the kid for a long time. And I think when it all came down to it is that Richer decided to come into this season not worrying about blaming anyone else, but just worrying about playing hockey and having some fun doing it. And boy, he sure looks as though he is having fun.
2-0 Bruins. 15 seconds left in the penalty to Luke Crawford as the Canadians gain the blue line. Jyrki Lume, number 20, holds up as his players set up. To the front of the net. Knocked away by Jocelyn Lemieux as he tried to get a hold of it. Crawford's back on the ice, getting back in the play. Bruins are back at full strength. The Canadians are 0 for 3 with a man advantage. Claude Lemieux with Jocelyn Lemieux, his younger brother, 3 years younger, and Bobby Smith, the forwards for the Canadians. Al Peterson took a shot that was kicked away by Hayward. Neely, Crawford, and Janney on the ice right now for the Bruins. Crawford goes to the bench, and on comes Bob Joyce. Alan Peterson dumps the puck in for the Bruins with just over 2 minutes to go in the second period. Janney and Neely ran into each other. Jocelyn Lemieux got the puck, and it was in the skates of the referee. Janney comes back. Tipped up. No call as Ludwig threw his arms in the air, having lost his stick. Claude Lemieux, poke check to the blue line by Glenn Wesley. Up to Craig Janney. Joyce moving into the left wing. Wesley goes for the net. There's the pass to Joyce. He shoots it off a stick and over the net. Bobby Smith got his stick on it. 1:40 to play, second period, 2-0 Boston. Richer knocked down, almost gave it away. Sweeney was able to keep the puck in. Carpenter went in after Lume and just missed. And the puck is held by Brian Hayward. That stops play with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. With Carpenter and Bob Sweeney. Burridge up from behind the net. He scored the last goal of this game. 1957 of the first period. 2-0 Boston. Wesley pinching in, lost the puck. 3-on-2. Carpenter trying to get back. Mike Keane to Gilchrist. And the all-star defenseman Ray Bourque broke up the play as he's done so often.
Remember, Bourque missed 20 games last year because of a knee injury. So I think he is, as you mentioned in the first period, Jim, determined to maybe regain that Norris Trophy this year. Boy, he is, without question, the leader of the Bruins. And he's going to have to do a lot of leading, not just in his own end zone, but offensively, as he's so capable of doing. But he's also pretty darn good defensively, as you could just see with that move. Great hand-eye coordination.
Wesley and Carpenter coming back. in effect made that a 3-on-3 by the time Bork broke up the play. Only he and Wayne Gretzky have been on the All-Star team every year they've been in the league. You know, Ray Bork is in his 11th season.
Isn't that amazing?
Here he is with the puck at the right point. Keeps it in with 15 seconds to go in the second period. Russ Courtnall to Ryan Walter. Bumps Craig Janney in the neutral zone. Shot down the ice by the Bruins, and that'll do it for period number 2 at the Boston Garden. A sellout crowd of 14,448 stand in appreciation of the Bruins' effort. They lead. But the Bruins have injuries of their own. Ken Linsman, of course, not in the lineup. They're missing Michael Telvin, a good defenseman they'd like to have, and hope to have him back soon. In fact, Telvin and Marquardt, Nevin Marquardt, who's missed over a year with an abdominal injury, could go down to Maine and start playing again as early as this weekend. Good hit by Bob Carpenter to set the tempo for this third period of play that's underway from the Garden. Teams are playing at even strength. They start the third period. Ryan Walter is out with Russ Courtnall and Tom Chorsky for the Canadiens, playing against Randy Burridge, Bob Carpenter, and Bob Sweeney. Ryan Walter to Courtnall. Couldn't get the shot away as he tried to pull the puck inside and snap one. And it's sent down the ice, and Sylvain Lefebvre is back after it. Long pass for Courtnall. There would have been 2 lines and offside. Instead, it's icing.
Well, this is the type of game, though, that the Montreal Canadiens, so often when they get themselves into, they can't get themselves back out. Down by a couple of goals, now they've got to be able to turn that offense on.
Carpenter on Chelios. And another good hit, and there's been a string of them in this game. And there's Bob smiling about it. From center, Claude Lemieux dumps the puck in. Out with Jocelyn Lemieux and Bobby Smith, this line has been together for the entire night, although Pat Burns has juggled a couple of other lines. Peter Juris, John Carter, and Bob Gould are the Bruin forwards. Ray Bork is back as Claude Lemieux is going down the right wing. Bumped by Jim Weimer, Bork's partner. A centering pass, and the net has knocked off its moorings as Peter Juris went sliding into the goal.
Jim, we said Ludwig was a good ball player. We saw him kick the puck pretty good tonight. He's a good soccer player. Maybe he should start doing some of those Bo Jackson commercials. He suggested that to Pat Burns, and he said, yeah, but he doesn't know diddly.
Bob Gould's shot blocked by Jocelyn Lemieux. Here's John Carter in after the puck. Spun around and knocked down by Bobby Smith. Bobby Gould with a backhand shot, deflected by Ludwig to the corner. Jirki Lume. 2 minutes into the third period, Boston 2-0. Up the boards for Bobby Smith. He couldn't take the pass. And here comes Jocelyn Lemieux. Lost the puck to Carter. Number 31, John Carter, fires the shot. Hayward made the save. Cam Neely's on the ice. Neely out with Janney. Joyce to join them in just a moment. The big Boston forward line. Weimer and Jocelyn Lemieux. Jocelyn in the corner. Janney round of the boards for Joyce, and he was met by Chelios, who's logged a lot of ice time. I'd like to have a clock on it tonight. It might be up around 35 minutes.
I would think so, but he can handle it.
Chelios poke check Craig Janney. Brent Gilchrist over the blue line with Mike Keane and Steve Martinson. Peterson rode his man Keane into the boards. Here's a long pass from Janney to Neely, waiting for Janney to catch up. Martinson anticipated and broke up the play. Now 3 minutes into the third period. Bruins appear to be playing very cautiously, making sure only one man is in checking, defending a 2-0 lead. Bruins are playing one man in forechecking. You mentioned something. I want you to talk about this again. Our pal Raj is coaching the Rangers, and he's playing no men in.
So should that surprise you? Yeah, he's playing no man in. I mean, basically they're standing up in the neutral ice area and looking for the turnovers in the neutral ice play. And you watch the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they do a lot the same. You watch that Buffalo game on Saturday night. They were taking the puck away from the Sabres so often in the neutral ice area. I mean, it'll work. It might not be the most exciting hockey in New York, in Madison Square Garden for the fans, but if Roger can win hockey games from it,
they'll be excited if they win.
To him. That's right.
Absolutely. Richer, LeBeau, and Corson on the ice for the Canadiens. Carpenter, Sweeney, and Burridge, the forward line for the Bruins. Wesley and Hoggood, the defense for Boston as they move the puck to center. Turned back by Shane Corson, and he dumps the puck in on Reggie Lemelin. Now Carpenter blasts one in just wide of Brian Hayward in the Canadian net. Corson bumped by Bob Sweeney. Ludwig in after the puck, and he'll play it behind the net for Lume. Corson at center. Bumped into Wesley. Back for the puck is Hoggood. Took a glance over his shoulder to see who was coming. Played the puck on the boards to Sweeney. Now back to Wesley. Just over 4 minutes into the third period. 2-0 Boston. The Bruins dump it in and change on the fly. Semeta, Crawford, and Gould out on the forward line. Bork and Weimer on defense. Gould in on the right wing. Checked by Lefebvre. Lefebvre pushed his man to the boards. Here's Semeta. Knocked down by Walter. Crawford gets the puck. Centering pass and a nice shot by Gould. And an equally nice save by Brian Hayward.
Pretty good pass out of the corner, too, by Crawford. He knew exactly where Gould was, and he put the puck right on his stick.
Now the Bruins dump the puck in from center and change once again. 30-second shifts. Changing on the fly. Here's a turnover. Janney's in alone. Nice save by Hayward on Janney, who was trying to go high to that stick side. In front again. Hayward stops the puck on the goal line, and this time he holds on for a faceoff.
On that last play, the Canadiens got themselves into trouble. But they're gambling. They've got to gamble right now. They made a cardinal sin of leaving the zone prior to the puck. Courtnall was the man. He was swinging. He was swinging high. Look, I mean, they had two Canadian players that were three of them actually, that were right out of the zone. There were three Bruin players that were back in the zone. And Hayward had to come up with a pretty big save. But the Canadiens have got to gamble right now in order to get back into this hockey game.
Another hit by Cam Neely. This time, Jyrki Lume was the recipient. Bob Joyce, no slouch in the corners, has the puck. Pushed by Lume. Neely comes in after the puck. Kicks it along the boards. Gilchrist stays with Neely. Neely wins the battle, comes out with the puck. Back in the point. Peterson's weak shot. He had to kick it up to his stick, and then his weak shot went wide. Quintel hit Martinson. Janney into the middle. Neely couldn't hang on to the puck. 13:50 to play, third period. 2-0 Boston as the Canadiens dump the puck in. Joyce with Janney and Neely. Bouncing puck in on Hayward, shot by Stefan Quintel. And the Bruins have changed on the fly once again. Now the Canadiens do the same. John Carter, watched by Martinson. Rink wide, Wesley to Greg Hoggood. Up to center over the line with Carter and Gould. Duras in the corner as well, playing with Carter and Gould on this Bruin forward line against the Lemieux brothers and Bobby Smith. Gould overskated the puck. Carter comes in to get it. Checked by Bobby Smith. Gould to the front of the net. Backhander. A weak one stopped by Chelios, and he starts out a 3-on-2 for the Canadians through center. Chelios with a pass to Jocelyn Lemieux, and his shot is just wide. Smith's after the puck and can't get it on the right wing boards. What a great transition for the Canadians, led by their captain. Bob Sweeney for the Bruins. Passed it way behind Randy Burridge. Carpenter took a weak shot, blocked by Hayward. Carpenter with Burridge. Bob Sweeney. Burridge came off the boards, spun around and went down, and he drew the penalty. I'm not sure how much Randy was hooked, but he went down, and dramatic effect was great. And there'll be a Canadian penalty to Bobby Smith.
When Big Bobby Smith reaches out with that stick, he darn near covers half of the rink. And he did exactly that. Unfortunately for him, he caught Randy Burridge. Watch right here. Just a little tug, enough to send Burridge down. Chelios, you can see, was going down behind Burridge, but Smith goes to the penalty box for hooking.
So the Bruins 1 for 4 with a man advantage go to work on a power play here. And again, a chance to put the Canadians away.
That might not have been called that penalty in the neutral ice area, but because it was in the offensive zone for the Bruins, Burridge was heading for the net. It was called.
Glenn Wesley with a quick shot. Screening in front was Sweeney. Shot over the net by Carpenter, who's done that a couple of times tonight. Blasted it wide. Ryan Walter is without a stick. Burridge at the side of the net. Bob Sweeney. Back to Ray Bork. Sweeney. Back at the other point. Wesley faked the shot. Bork drives one, and it's blocked by Chorsky. Ryan Walter broke his stick, is still without one as the Canadians box it up. Here's Carpenter right in front. Shoots it. Hayward to save. Standing up, and Carpenter was knocked down. And Hayward holds on at the side of the net. Nice save by Hayward, who stayed on his feet.
Well, Hayward did his job. Not a bad job either by Chorsky. You see how Chorsky was rushing the point. There was no way that he was going to let Raymond Bork shoot from that point. But the problem is, when you do rush the point, you open up that gap in the slot, and that's what the Bruins were looking for. Carpenter comes out of the corner. He's got his head up. He's got a little bit too much room. But again, the fault also was because Ryan Walter lost his stick. So the Canadians were in big trouble.
And Ludwig was over at the boards, not in the play. And Carpenter's had a couple of great chances tonight. At least that time he hit the net. Earlier he blasted a couple wide.
When you get into trouble and you've got great goaltending, as the Canadians do, it gets you out of a lot of trouble quickly.
Now Janney's out to take the face-off against Brett Gilchrist. Janney, Neely, and Joyce, Bork, and Wesley. First period goals by Neely on the power play, and Randy Burridge with the Bruins' first even-strength goal of the year at Boston out front 2-0.
Kind of a dangerous move by Chelios coming out of his own end zone there. Made a quick pivot, came out, threw the puck up the middle with his backhand, but he knew where he was putting it, and he's got the experience to get away with it.
Keane and Gilchrist, a couple of good, hard-working sophomore pros for the Canadians up front, with Chelios and Ludwig, the defenseman, killing this penalty. Wesley blasts one, deflected by Chelios, high and wide. 50 seconds to go in the penalty to Bobby Smith. Here's Ray Bork into the middle. Up to Janney, lost his balance. Back on the point to Bork. Wesley's on the other side. Gilchrist got the puck in his skates. Can't quite get it outside the blue line. Cam Neely now fakes the shot. Back to Janney. Wesley moving in. Janney takes the shot. High and wide, and Wesley now back to the point, keeps the puck in. 30 seconds to go in the Smith penalty.
The Canadians aren't allowing Bork to quarterback it from the point, not when they've got possession of it in the end zone.
Bork shoots one, just squeezed between the pads of Hayward. It almost got through.
They just keep taking the puck away from Bork in the blue line. That's the only way Bork's going to get a good opportunity to score, is if he carries it in himself and then gets his own shot away. Because Gilchrist, this time for the Canadians, was taking it away from him quickly, forcing the Bruins to work down in deep. Not much of an angle for Bork. Once again, the Canadians taking away that middle ice area. Hey, look, when Bork comes in from that angle, that's the goaltender's job. If he doesn't stop those type of pucks, and you put the finger on him.
And he stopped that one. Although he made it pretty interesting. Here's Bork again. John Carter now. 15 seconds left in the Bobby Smith penalty. 2-0 Boston. Carter wouldn't shoot it into the screen. In front of the net is Jurison Gould. Carter's shot blocked by Hayward, and another nice save. He got down in that butterfly position to see through the crowd, and he made a nice save. The penalty to Bobby Smith is now over. Canadians are back at full strength and still in this game because they've kept the Bruins from scoring more than one in 5 opportunities on the power play tonight. They had that 1 5-minute power play, and the Bruins couldn't come up with a goal. So it's still 2-0. The Bruins haven't been able to salt this one away yet. 10:13 to go in the third. You're watching the NHL tonight on TSN.
Ted Sater doesn't have a headset up to his assistant coach, Gordie Clark. Their headsets have been broken. They've had no communication. They've got new ones on the way.
Al Peterson with a shot that was deflected and slowly just went wide of the Montreal post. Riche's shot, a rebound off the save by Lemelin. And that one was shot just wide by Stéphane Lebeau. Lebeau, Richer, and Corson up front. A stick came up in the face of Al Peterson. The stick. Is it Richer's or Corson?
I think it was Corson's, and that's a long way up to get your stick in Peterson's face.
Al Peterson has gone to the bench, is being tended to by the trainer. Jim Narrigan is working on Al Peterson. The play is stopped because the puck is held in the corner. And that is what might be defined as the accidental high stick.
But boy, it really was up there a long ways. Al Peterson is 6'3". You could see that Corson's stick was wrapped right around his neck. Fortunate for Peterson that didn't catch his eye, because it was definitely in the vicinity. Peterson, they've been probably joking a little bit about Peterson. The pregame notes tonight said that he was scoreless in 5 exhibition games. In 5 exhibition games. The guy hasn't scored a goal in the last couple of years. Scored 1 goal his first year in the league 3 years ago. But he's a good defensive defenseman.
And a good guy.
And a good guy and a good jokester in the team.
Keeps threatening to score a hat trick one night when we're here, Greener. He almost got a goal just moments ago on a puck that was deflected just in front of Hayward. Walter took a shot from Bobby Carpenter. And Walter's back giving Carpenter a shot from behind. Burridge to Sweeney. In around Sylvain Lefebvre, trying to center it, gets the puck out front. Ryan Walters there for Montreal. 9 minutes to go, third period of the Boston Garden. 2-0. The Bruins lead. There's a 2-line offside pass that brings the play back into the Canadian zone. The Canadians go home to face the Bruins on Wednesday, then go on a short road trip to play New Jersey and Pittsburgh on the weekend. The Bruins, as you pointed out, go out on a 13-day, 6-game road trip. Isn't it really weird that the schedule maker has them in Edmonton twice on the same road trip and then not back there again this season?
Well, it was Harry Sinden that said that's really an extension of training camp, and they will make some decisions after that.
Hayward made a save. The puck deflected off Lefebvre, and another save by Hayward.
I'm talking about Harry Sinden. I mean, let's face it, he's done a pretty good job of patching with this hockey club over the years, always keeping them competitive. Keeps picking up a couple of players here and there each year.
But, Greener, I don't think they're very deep.
No,
you're looking
at
one big line of Joyce, Janney, and Neely, and they're very good. The rest of the guys are checkers and what you might call the patchwork guys.
They're competitive. They're not a Stanley Cup champion team. They don't have the horses, not enough of them, to be able to win a Stanley Cup, I don't believe.
They've got some very good defensemen. Carpenter's played a lot tonight, taking all the big face-offs. He lost this one to Brent Gilchrist. Carpenter to Burridge. Checked by Gilchrist. Sweeney comes in to help out. And Brian Hayward hops out of the net to help out, and that'll draw a crowd again. Chelios and Burridge and Carpenter in there, and Keane.
Keane jumped in there quickly and put his arm right around, almost a chokehold on Bob Carpenter.
Been some good hits in this game. There's been some reason for players to be a little mad at each other. Sylvain Lefebvre has seen lots of action tonight because the Canadians are down to 4 defensemen. He's just 21 years old, played junior in Laval and 2 years at Sherbrooke. Neely and Burridge had the first period goals for Boston. Sweeney moves in to take the face-off, but he's been a center. And he won the draw. Ray Bourque shoots it. Hayward the save. Big rebound. Carpenter shoots. Another save by Hayward. 2 very good saves by Brian Hayward off Bourque and Carpenter. And the Canadians are still in this game, although running short on time. Just over 8 minutes to play third period. 36-17 the shots now in favor of Boston. Bruins are changing on the fly. Martinson's pass. He gave it away to Bob Sweeney. Off the boards to Burridge and out to center. Chelios waiting for mates to get onside. Gets the puck to Gilchrist, to Mike Keane. A backhand shot. Put it off the post, off the crossbar and out of play. And a great chance for the Canadians to close to within 1.
Well, the Canadians bring that puck down the ice, and Keane goes to his backhand, or I should say Sweeney. Lemlin didn't have a clue where that puck went. Could have gone in the top corner as far as he knew. He got a piece of it, but then it disappeared.
And now some more jawing after the whistle had gone.
Watch right from the face-off. Now, Raymond Bourque to the bottom of your screen. No one's coming out at him. I think it was Martinson that tried to come out at him, but there was a good pick play on him, and as a result, it was Martinson. Carpenter ran the pick on Martinson, and as a result, Raymond Bourque had an excellent opportunity to walk right in, winning those face-offs and drawing it back to a guy like Raymond Bourque.
Janney, Neely, and Joyce are back on for Mike Milbury's Bruins. Against Ryan Walter, Russ Courtnall, and Mike Keane for Pat Burns' Canadians as Pat continues to juggle his line. Courtnall over the line. The puck was knocked out of the air. Neely trying to come down with it. Janney does. Al Peterson to Stefan Quintel. Lume to center. Quintel is there to stop the puck, and he gets it back to Janney, who almost ran into Neely. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to play third period. A dynamite move by Gilchrist. Spun around inside the blue line, drew a penalty, and the Canadians get a chance to get within 1. They'll go to a power play when we come back on Molson's NHL Tonight from the Garden in Boston.
Hey, a great pass by Lume, but what a move by Gilchrist. Watch this pass, first of all. Lume's got his head up way across the ice to Gilchrist. Watch this move. Uses the boards just like another man out there for you. Gilchrist got tripped up in the play, but what a way he took that puck off the backboard.
Cam Neely for tripping. The Canadians on the power play haven't scored. 0 for 3 tonight. Richer fires his shot.
Oh.
Reggie was up to it.
Great save by Reggie Lemlin. And another nice shot by Richer. How important those face-offs are. We saw it for the Bruins on Raymond Bourque. This time it goes back to Richer. Look, he's got all the time in the world. He just fires that puck. And Lemlin was already doing the split, and he got that glove up and snapped it right out of the air.
Chelios now fires the shot. Tipped in front and kicked out by Reggie Lemelin. Jocelyn Lemieux is streaking in front of the net. Corson and LeBeau in the corner after the puck. Jocelyn Lemieux out front. LeBeau to Lemieux, swept away by Lemelin in front of the net. He hasn't been very active in much of this game, but in the third period, the Canadians have started to test him, and he's been great. The play is stopped in the frenzy. We couldn't hear the whistle.
Well, Jocelyn Lemieux has never been a big goal scorer. He scored 25 goals in Sherbrooke last year. Might be better for LeBeau to work it into that position and shoot himself. LeBeau's the goal scorer. Pretty good split in goaltending chores last year for the Bruins. Andy Moog sharing it with Reggie Lemelin right down the middle.
Reggie's lifetime record against the Canadians is 7-15-4, and he didn't win against Montreal. 0-5-1 last year. He'd like to pick up win number 8 tonight. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the Cam Neely minor penalty. Wesley dumped in the corner, hit hard. LeBeau centering pass. The shot by Lemieux was stopped by Reggie. Richer and Chelios. LeBeau, Jocelyn Lemieux and Corson. Richer blasts one. Stopped by Reggie and knocked away before it could go in behind him. Chelios to the front of the net. Here's a chance for Corson. Spins in the corner. 50 seconds to go in the penalty. Jocelyn Lemieux to Shane Corson. Corson to the point. Chelios on the other side to Richer. Screen shot. Hit a skate in front. Burridge gets the puck, and he gets it down the ice. 35 seconds to go in the penalty. Now the Canadians wind it up at center again. Richer carries the puck. Blasts the shot. Reggie makes the save. 25 seconds to go in the penalty. 5.5 in the period. 2-0 Boston.
What a game Richer's having out there. He's just walking around the Bruins like right now as they don't even exist.
10 seconds to go in the penalty. Bobby Smith with Courtnall and Walter. Smith hit by Glenn Wesley. Janney clears the puck on the boards into center. Neely standing, getting set to come back on the ice. The penalty's over. 5 minutes to go, third period, 2-0 Boston. John Carter wraps it around, can't stop it in. Loose puck, and Hayward is held on, but the whistle had already gone.
Richer can really put some moves on out there. Watch Richer right from the neutral ice area. This is Raymond Bourque he's up against, folks. He walked around Raymond Bourque like there was nothing at all to Bourque. Just a great play right here by Peterson when he jumped over top of Lemelin, knocked that loose puck out. Otherwise, Richer would have put it right in behind Lemelin. The Canadians were in an offensive flurry, and it's about time.
Alan Peterson using his reach to poke the puck away from the crease.
Knock him for his offense, but he's pretty good defensively.
And that's what he's paid for. 4:56 is the time remaining in the third period.
This guy's having fun, isn't he?
I don't know how much fun it is to be down 2-0, but you're right, he's playing very loosely.
To the great hockey players, they don't like to lose, but if they're playing well out there, that's all they can do, is take care of themselves, and that's all Pat Burns expects of Richer this year.
Joyce pumped hard with Lume. Carpenter pumped with Smith. Ryan Walter to center to Russ Courtnall. Ray Bourque to Jim Weimer. Weimer dumps the puck in. After it is Bob Sweeney, number 20. Keeping the puck in for Joyce, who's checked by Lumet. 4.5 minutes to play in the third period. 2-0 Bruins. Bob Carpenter. Back pass. Sweeney and Joyce in after it. Bob Sweeney has the puck. Carpenter in front. There's the pass. Tipped away by Walter. And into the seats to stop the play with 4:16 to go in the third.
Bruins decide to take a little bit of the pressure off by applying some offense.
All the scoring in the first period. All of it. 2 goals. Neely and Burridge, another sellout crowd in the Boston Garden. 14,448. See that? Pretty good early season hockey game, particularly when you consider the number of fine veteran players that aren't involved in this game because of injury. Craig Janney stick handles in the corner against Gilchrist. Janney trying to come out. Knocked down. Janney behind the net. Neely's out front. Too many Canadians for Janney to deal with in behind the net. Here's Haga. Faked his shot. Took a weak one. Hit the ankle of Burridge. Burridge got away from LeFave to the front of the net. And he couldn't get a shot on goal. Gilchrist trying to get the puck to Keane and out. Kept in by Wesley. Chorsky, Gilchrist, and Keane for the Canadians through center. Chorsky dumped the puck in. Greg Hoggood takes it off the boards. Nice pass off the boards to Neely, to Bob Gould. Got by Chelios, but not with the puck. Back comes John Carter, hit by Mike Keane. LeFave takes the hit on the boards from Bob Gould. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the third period. Boston 2, Montreal nothing. Gould to Juris. His long shot is just wide of the Canadiens' goal. Boston completing a line change. Carpenter is out there with Juris and Gould. Richer, LeBeau, and Corson now out on the ice for Montreal. And another quick change for the Boston Bruins. Dumped at the blue line was Corson by Bork, who's lost his stick. 2.5 minutes to go in the third, and the puck squirted by Craig Ludwig at the blue line. Weimer to Burridge. Bruins will take no chances, trying to preserve this 2-0 lead. Two minutes and 7 seconds to go, and the faceoff will come all the way down in the Boston zone, and a chance for the Canadiens to get set up.
The bodies have been flying on the ice tonight. There have been, folks, about a dozen fights in the stands. Corson went down hard. I mean, that shows you the strength of Raymond Bourque. There was no way, after Richer got around Bourque, there was no way that Corson was about to get around Bourque that time. This place is crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the nuttier buildings to come to. Everybody's right on top of the action on. When they build the new Boston Garden, which is supposed to open for the '93 season, it's going to have more seats, but it's still going to go straight up from the ice. So even in the cheapest seats, you'll be right on top of the ice. Maybe a long ways up in the air, but right over the ice.
It's a smart move on their part, Tim.
Under 2 minutes to go. And the Bruins, after that faceoff, got the puck right back down in the Montreal zone. Out of the corner, Stephen LeBeau came with the puck. Down the ice, Bourque chases it. No icing, the Canadiens make the change. Neely and Corson eyeing each other and jawing here in the late going. Corson staying right with Neely at center. Minute and 25 seconds to go. Third period. Corson gave Joyce a friendly little chop on the back of the ankles, and Dave Newell saw him and said something to him, and Corson snapped back at him. Ray Bourque to center. 1:09 to go. Hayward started for the bench, got halfway, and then play was stopped, and Corson has been cruising around for this entire shift, looking for some action, trying to find a partner, and the Bruins with a 2-0 lead seem somewhat reluctant to take him up on his offer.
It's always Wednesday night.
And Dave Newell has seen enough and is going to give Corson a penalty. He watched him closely for that whole shift. In fact, I think told him to lay off once, and now he's given him a misconduct to go with the penalty issued first, and Corson's gone. So that's it for Shane Corson for tonight. Some parting words and on to the dressing room.
And always a dangerous place to leave a game at any time during the hockey game, but especially between these two teams, and the visiting player has to walk right beside the Bruins bench to get out of the rink.
Slashing minor and a 10-minute misconduct to Shane Corson at 18 minutes and 52 seconds of the third period, and that sends a lot of the fans scurrying to the exits, confident that the Bruins with a power play can now hold on to this 2-0 lead and get Reggie Lemelin his 10th career shutout. Burridge to Carpenter, who's played a lot. Sweeney back to the line. Wesley's shot.
The Canadians haven't been able to get Courtnall loose tonight. He's got great speed, but he hasn't been able to utilize it in this building.
"20 seconds to go in the third period. The last time the Bruins beat the Canadians here was late in the '88 season in February. They've gone 10 straight regular season games against Montreal without a win, and the fans are up counting down the seconds because the Bruins will win tonight.